धीराधीर जनप्रियं प्रियकरं निर्मत्सरं पूजितं शङ्खापूर्वक नामगाननतिभिः कालावसानिकृतम् Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Isn't that a beautiful morning melody by Srila Prabhupada? Hey, Krishna Katha? When I heard that,
I play it every night. Every night I play.
Perfect. It's a bit different. The melody is a bit different, slight variation, but you can see how expert Prabhupada was as a musician. Actually, Prabhupada was not an ordinary person, but a transcendental personality that was sent to this world by the grace of Lord Chaitanya. This, of course, is something very important for us to understand, because any other perception of him is Maya, complete illusion. And from illusion comes confusion. And this is the state of affairs in his movement, the Hare Krishna movement that he started. Great confusion. And that is philosophically confused. They don't know. Our God brothers do not know this philosophy. Why don't they know this philosophy, Bhaktajad? Because they don't read it carefully. And even if they read it, they don't have the capacity to understand it. This is a problem for them, not for us. Vijaya Pandit, we're not confused. We're not amused either. This is serious, Krishna Katha. Very serious, this deviation. Prabhupada said, one should not accept a guru unless one is very serious about spiritual life. A guru is not a fashion or a fad like in the ISKCON group of confused people. And this is an unfortunate situation, especially since the human form of life is a great opportunity for spiritual advancement. But when there's confusion, there is no advancement. It's like our godbrother Jonas Priya explains about milk being pure Actually, it's an example from Prabhupada. When milk is pure, it can be drank. But when it's contaminated, it should be thrown away. If you put urine in milk, will you drink it? No. So you put adulterated messages in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. How many should there be in there? None. Does it matter if it's only Krishna Katha, 10%? If it's 10% contamination, will you drink it? We drink through the ear. We don't drink. We drink by hearing this philosophy. If it's contaminated, don't give it to us. If there's anything we're doing in this Prabhupada Disciples Association Hare Krishna Society, we're making a sincere effort not to change anything. That's what Prabhupada said in a lecture recently. I've mentioned it already. There's people are claiming, Prabhupada says, that I've created so many miracles. They were seeing him traveling around the world, converting people away from the Kali Yuga lifestyle they were indoctrinated into. And all of a sudden, they become different people. They're following regulated principles. They're chanting Hare Krishna. And they're propagating the philosophy of God consciousness according to the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. Prabhupada goes, miracles, there are many. But I know no such miracle. I know no such miracle. If there's any miracle, I have not changed anything. This is a truth that we have to understand without any question. Without any question. Without any hesitation. Vijay Pandit in Italy. No question. This is a truth we have to understand. Do not change anything. I was speaking to Yashodanandana Prabhu. He was explaining this pastime he had with Prabhupada, where Prabhupada in 77 saw so many changes coming and he yelled at him, do not change anything. Send a letter out to everyone. Stop all these changes. But people say, no, that's just one instruction specifically to you. It's just like Bhagavat said to me, Yashodanandana Prabhu. He said, because Prabhupada sent me a letter specifically saying to us, and Brahmananda sent another letter out subsequent to the letter that was sent to me, do not associate with my God brothers. Do not read their books. Do not invite them to speak in our temples. Do not. And Bhagavat says to me, who's with the Gaudiya Math now, as some kind of big guru, that letter was just specifically for you. No, it says to all my disciples, Bhagavat, no, not for me. Okay, there's some kind of reason why he does this, but for me, goodbye. Block, eliminate, disappear from my life. Not interested in this kind of association with a contaminated God brother, like so many of these God brothers that are running around as fake gurus in our movement and pretending to be Vyasadeva. Pretending to be the representative of Vyasadeva. This is madness. And everyone here should understand it. There is no compromise with our membership. None. And here I'm going to read something for you from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Anchalila, chapter 20. This is the last chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Last chapter, after 17 volumes. I'm finishing the reading again for the third time in recent years. And more insight from Prabhupada, and here is the verse. Rupesh, is it possible you can bring it up? Text 87, Anchulila. Yeah, there it is. Bring it up closer, Prabhu. It's coming from my book. I'll just read the verse and purport for us. In Chaitanya Mangal, Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur has stated in many spaces the factual truth that in the future, Vyasadeva will describe them elaborately. Okay, so Vrindavan Das Thakur is at the time of Lord Chaitanya, and he's predicting to all of us that in the future, Vyasadeva will describe them elaborately. Who is Vyasadeva that he's referring to, Krishna Katha? I'll give the answer. Prabhupada. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He's predicting his appearance as remanifested incarnation of Vyasadeva. Purport. The statement, Age Vyasha Kariba Varnane, is similar to a text in Chaitanya Bhagavat, first chapter, text 180, in which Vrindavan Das Thakur says, Sesha Khande Chaitanya era anta vilash, Vishtane varnite achena veda vyas. The unlimited pastimes of Sri Chaitanya will be described by Vyasadeva in the future. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that these statements indicate that in the future, other representatives of Vyasadeva will elaborately describe Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. The purport is that any pure devotee in the disciplic succession who describes the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is considered to be a representative of Vyasadeva. Is that clear, everyone? Or is there some confusion? That Prabhupada is the incarnation representative of Srila Vyasadeva, Krishna himself, in the literary incarnation. How can you say that, Vishwakarma? Well, who has presented Chaitanya Charitamrita in 17 volumes in the modern world? Who's done it, Krishna Katha? Only one person, period. Nobody else. And this is the reality of this, what we're presenting to people. Now someone could say, did you make that up? No, I just read it. And it's apparent what it is. This brings about an interesting question that I want to pose now to everyone, because I've been meditating on it. Prabhupada says that he's talking in his lecture about the Bhagavad Gita as it is. He goes, the Macmillan Company, they say my Bhagavad Gita is the most popular. We just printed 50,000 copies and sold them, and now we're presenting another 50,000 copies, and we're going to present those to the society. 50,000 and then another 50,000. So he's explaining this for the benefit of his disciples, and he wants his godbrothers to also understand how successful his preaching is going. Now the question is, Nilesh Sharma, here is the question. What is the difference between the verses of Bhagavad Gita and Prabhupada's purports? Answer, no difference. None whatsoever. In fact, the purports give us a detailed explanation of what Krishna is saying to all of us. And that's why Prabhupada insisted, do not read any other books but my books. Because if you do, you'll become confused. Very confused. Do not read them. There is no difference between the Acharya and Krishna himself. Now, of course, there is a difference philosophically, that Prabhupada is the representative of Krishna, but the words that the Guru speaks, the Acharya, are non-different than the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they have to be respected, and not one word changed, Krishna Katha, not one word by Jayadvaita or Dvivida, these two culprits that entered our movement and disturbed the whole disciplic succession. This is nonsense. And this is something that has to be explained. No compromise to these people in ISKCON. None that sell these books like Gopal Krishna was doing in India. Complete. And now there's a lawsuit again against the publishing of the original books by Gopal's BBT. Is this madness? Nilesh Sharma? Is this madness? Is this Maya? Yes, it is. And there's lots of confusion. And Krishna, Prabhupada says this, and I was listening, I'll move on to this reading, sorry. Listening to the lecture yesterday of Srila Prabhupada, and he's talking about the different aspects of Krishna's understanding of truth. Vadanti tat tattva vidas, brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabhyate. Prabhupada speaks, and I'm listening how he's speaking. And he goes, Krishna as Paramatma knows everything. Interesting. The way he said it, Yashodanandana Prabhu, was so revealing to this fallen soul here. Because I think, oh, I can do things and Krishna doesn't know. I'll do it on my own. I can be a closet gay and Krishna will never know because I'm hiding in the closet. I can be a closet anything, and I think, oh, I'm hiding in the closet. God will never see me. No, Krishna sees everything as the Paramatma. This is reality. This philosophy is dynamic. It's real. It's not just rhetoric. Period. So that's all I have to say about that. And thank you very much, everyone, for joining us here today at the reading of the Bhagavad Gita. And we're going to move forward here with our reading of the diaries, which has proved to be very enlightening for all of us, because most people are not aware of these diaries or how they can play a role in your understanding of this mission and the reason why you want to surrender to it. Personally, you want to surrender. Personally, you want to practice this process. Personally, you want to give good example to other people. And you have to, we, not you, we have to keep practicing that. I said this, I say this to Yashoda because I've been, I study media, social media. I try to understand what we're doing. And there's this MMA boxer, fighter, Khabib. I can't say his last name, but he's from Dagestan. And what he stresses is, above all, in his teaching to the thousands of followers of him, is you have to practice what you preach. And that's what he does. He's a follower of Allah. He's very sincere about it. It is what it is. But he does believe in God, and he does practice what he preaches. And that is what we have to strive for every day. And as far as I'm concerned, if you can get through one day, Prabhu, who is this Prabhu? Very nice. Mukesh Sharma. If you can get through one day, thank Krishna you made that day by following these rules, and you pray, I can get up tomorrow morning and do it again. And you go day by day. Simple as that. 24 hours in the day. You go day by day. We're going to read an excerpt from a morning walk with His Divine Grace in Denver on July 1st, 1975. Brahmananda, he has dedicated his book to the parents and to the devotees. Prabhupada has tried to pacify the parents. Brahmananda, yes, another parent is coming to see you today. Prabhupada, oh, to accuse me? Brahmananda, no. Her son said she is very favorable. She's the mother of Parikshit. Okay. Prabhupada, your mother was very angry upon us, laughter. You know that. When she came to see me, I told her, Mr. Bruce, you've given me some money, laughing. I have given you 2 sons. She was very angry. Still you want money. That's all right. Tamal Krishna, you asked them to bow down to her. No, I asked him to bow down to your mother. Brahmananda, yes, at initiation. Prabhupada, after initiation, did she like? Prabhupada, I gave her proper respect. Mother, after all, she is fortunate mother. She has produced such nice sons, and I've offered her respect, yes. And any of your mother and father, they are all very fortunate. And you are giving the best service to your family. Our Nitai's mother came. She looked very nice lady. Yes, I think you're the first child. Nitai, yes. Therefore, she looks young, not very old, within 40. Nitai, over 40, I think, within 50. Oh, but she looks younger. And your grandmother, she is 80. Oh, so always giving respect to everyone in all circumstances. This is our rule. Now, here's a phone excerpt from a conversation in the car in Toronto on June 21st, 1976. And guess who was driving Krishna Katha? Yours truly. I took that responsibility when I was president, because when Prabhupada came to a particular area, there was quite a bit of selection done by the local administration. Who would drive, who would cook, who would clean, etc., for Prabhupada specifically. So the only thing that I exercised as my authority at the time as president, because I was technically in charge of everything, that's how Prabhupada looked at it, and that's how he wanted his temples run, by his presidents, not by the GBC. That was a complete deviation from Prabhupada's plan to run his movement, have his movement run. So I took the liberty of driving. So I was in the car, but guess what, Krishna Katha? I can't remember the conversation. You know why? Because I was afraid to get in an accident and I was concentrating on driving. The last thing I needed to do was drive the car and get in an accident with our guru in the car. Big mistake. So no mistakes, but I'm reading it again with quite interest. Prabhupada, we have all got the experience. This is the only way I started this movement, on this determination that they have nothing to give simply by propaganda. They are exacting so many people and befooling them. And I'll give them prasadam, nice chanting, and they will not come. They must come. This is my determination as I began with this. So this is the only way. Give them a chance. No talk. Please come. Chant and dance with us and take Krishna prasadam and go home. Kirtananda. I think it was 10 years ago when I first met you. Prabhupada. Yes, I never said that. You have to give up this. You have to do this. Never said. Then gradually, Cheto Darpanam Marjanam, within the heart, becomes cleansed. And then there is no hopelessness. So many people have come, and they are coming, both black, white, everyone is coming. There's no question of race. Both black and white, everyone is coming. But you cannot expect that % people will come. That's not possible. But even 1/4% people come to this, then it will be successful. Compared to the American population, what percentage we have got? Still, they have made some impression. The Hare Krishna movement, literatures are selling. They are appreciated. Learned circles take some time, but if we stick to our disciples and do not make any compromise and push on in this way, I have given you instruction. It will never stop. It will go on. It will never stop. At least for 10,000 years, Vijaya Pandit. It will go on. That is and this movement is meant for these 4th class, 5th class, 10th class men. Not this movement is 4th class, 5th class. They are so fallen that they cannot be counted even 3rd class. 4th class, 10th class of men, deliver them. Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatar, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's incarnation is for delivering these classes of men. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never started this movement for high-class Brahmins, sages, saintly persons. No, this class of men for the all fallen. Don't be disappointed. Go on, stick to the principles. When there was no response, I did not know where to live. Prabhupada says, where to eat. Sometimes at Dr. Misra's, sometimes with some friends somewhere. Where to live. And I was going to inquire the shipping company when the next ship returning to India. Still, I was renewing my visa. Let us hope. In this way, we started 2nd Avenue in the month of July, I think. Kirtananda, June or July. Yes, June, July. Yes, June. Then Hayagriva, Kirtananda. They came first. Before that, Mukunda came. Harisora, he is the oldest devotee. Mukunda, he is the oldest devotee. Yes, there were others. They have left. That Mr. Green. Kirtananda Jagannath Das, that's Yogeshwar. Jagannath Das, I think you named him Jagannath. And here we have Prabhupada and Rabindra Swarup. Rabindra Swarup didn't leave then, but he left after he became a guru. Just took a little time for him to lose his mind and become a PhD. Kirtananda Carl, yes, he has left. So, very insightful here, Prabhus. And I hope you appreciated that. Since I was in the car, I guess I'm qualified to speak it to all of us. And understand that there will be few people that will come to this group. That's what Prabhupada is telling us. But if all of us stick together, and if everyone here can make a commitment, Bhakta Jad, to make one devotee in their life, then that will be your success. Just one. I had a chance to speak to a devotee that I know for 50 years. I'm not mentioning his name. Here in Canada, near me. I asked him, Prabhu, how many devotees have you made in your life? And you know what his answer was? 0. None. After 50 years, not one devotee. So make yourself a devotee and try to make one other devotee And that'll be a great success. And then step forward and keep going. Oh, glories to Srila Prabhupada. Let's hear the chanting of Jaya Radha Madhava and then enjoy the wonderful transcendental class given by Yashodanandana Prabhu from our Bhagavad Gita as it is, unedited and unchanged by unscrupulous people that have no idea of what this philosophy of Guru Tattva is. Period.
Sai. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajanandana Yashodanandana Brajajanandana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद से अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गो गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवद्वीप धाम की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Narayanam namaskritya, Narayanam namaskritya, Naram cheva narottamam, Naram cheva narottamam, Devim saraswatim vyasam, Devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet, tato jayam mudirayet. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead Narayana, 2, to the Naranarayana Rishi, who is the supramost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author, from Srimad Bhagavatam 1 to 4. Thanks everyone for attending this reading and discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, as Srila Prabhupada did in the beginning in 1966 in New York. We will read a few selected verses that have been given by His Divine Grace prior to his reading on Bhagavad Gita. Due to the time factor here, we'll read straight through the Sanskrit. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaguna Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Sri Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaham. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This week we will be reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, text number 16. Dr. Rupesh, can you put the verse on the screen? Aneka bahudara bhaktra netram pashyami tvam sarabhatvananta rupam nantam namadyam napunastavadim pashyami vishveshvara vishwarupa. This reading and discussion is on the basis of the original non-interpolated, non-adulterated 1972 Macmillan edition of the Bhagavad Gita, all synonyms, translations, and purports by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. Word for word, aneka, many, bahu, arms, udara, bellies, vaktra, mouths, netram, eyes, pashyami, I see, tvam, unto you, sarvataha, from all sides, anantarupam, unlimited form, naantam, there is no end, namadhyam, there is no middle, Napunaha, nor again. Tava, your. Adim, beginning. Pashyami, I see. Vishveshvara, O Lord of the universe. Vishwarupa, in the form of the universe. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. O Lord of the universe, I see in your universal body many, many forms, bellies, mouths, eyes, expanded without limit. There is no end. There is no beginning, and there is no middle to all this. Purport. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is unlimited. Thus, through him, everything could be seen. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shwanyavadi Pashatyadeshatarine. So this particular chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the universal form, has been explained by Srila Prabhupada many times that this is a description of the opulences of Krishna to help persons who are very engrossed in materialistic life to understand the majestic expansion and influence of the glories of the Lord all over the universe. So many times we hear persons talking about God being great, God being the best, the creator. Well, this is beautiful. It's a very nice realization. It's a very nice eulogy of the Supreme Lord. But Srila Prabhupada's point used to be, how great is he? What is this knowledge of God? What does he do? What are his qualities? What are his activities? Where does he live? Does he have any incarnations? Does he come here on this planet? So this is a very important point. It is not sufficient to say, oh, God is great. That's nice. That is definitely good. That is wanted. Just like we hear some of our Muslim friends who promote Islam They have this namaz. They offer respectful obeisances to Allah 5 times a day or 3 times a day, depending which division of Islam they belong to. So this is very nice, to offer respects, to offer obeisances. In Sanskrit, it's called vandana. Vandana means to offer respectful obeisances to the supreme absolute truth. But the question comes up, along with offering respects, what is the level of understanding and realization of all these persons claiming that, okay, God is great? What is that greatness? That is where the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam comes in. The level of detail and precision that one gets, that one obtains from hearing the message of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam is much greater than any other scripture anywhere in the world. And this is not meant to deprecate or criticize anybody's religious belief or pious belief. Everybody is entitled to their pious belief. That is nice. That is good. But one has to dive deep into the knowledge given by these shastras or scriptural revelations. Then how do we do that? Because a person may become confused and say, well, there are so many different scriptures in different parts of the world where so many different explanations are given, explaining what is the absolute truth. That is why in the Vedas, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is described, tadvidi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadishyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. One is advised to accept a bona fide, authorized spiritual professor, spiritual teacher, or guru. Now, the question may come because we are indoctrinated according to this Western propaganda and Western education to challenge everything. The difficulty with this challenging spirit, that this is not in line with the Vedic understanding. We see in the Katha Upanishad, in order to understand the absolute truth, to understand spiritual knowledge, it is given, tat vinyarartam sagurumeva vigachet, samit panihi sotriyam brahmanistam. That in order to understand, one should approach a bona fide, qualified guru. So, but what is the qualification of somebody who is to approach, of a sincere seeker? Prabhupada described this nicely in a conversation in Indore, India, on December 13th, 1970. This is a Srimad Bhagavatam class on Canto 6, Chapter 1, Text 22. Srimad Bhagavatam class, Canto 6, Chapter 1, Text 22, on December 13th, 1970. Prabhupada describes, therefore, Vidvams Chakri Satvata Samhita, the most learned Vyasadeva, compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam, and they do not take care of Bhagavata. They do not care of Bhagavad Gita. They take care of a book written by some rascal leaders. That's all. The aim of that book is to kill Krishna. That's all. So how you can improve? It is not possible. If they actually want improvement, not only this country or that country, whole world to world, one has to take this Krishna consciousness movement. Otherwise, it is doomed. So we are giving the best service to the human society. Krishna consciousness. You came yesterday. No. This gentleman. Yes. No, you are coming first. So that boy, he was to immediately offer his service to join us. We can join if you flatter me. Whatever I know, if you accept, that's all, then I can. And if you say something against my conviction, oh, then I'm not going to join. But here the process is first, you first surrender. Whatever you know, nonsense, you give it up. Now, here's a very important part of this conversation. Prabhupada said, first of all, become blank slate. Prabhupada continues, so I was told by some authority, a very responsible man, that in Germany, there are musical institutions. So when a student who goes there, who knows something about musical art, he's charged more. Is it a fact? He's charged more. He's charged more because extra endeavor has to be done to make him forget what nonsense he has learned, because this learning is all nonsense. So one has to take, Prabhupada goes on, just like so many people come, I have to talk so many hours to make him forget what nonsense he has learned. So he should be charged more, this student. And one who comes as blank slate, they've accepted Krishna consciousness because they are blank slates. And in India, they think they have learned so many things. Yes, they have learned from Radha Krishna, they have learned from Aurobindo, they have learned from Vivekananda, the Ramakrishna, this, that, so many nonsense, except Krishna. They've learned everything from so many nonsense except Krishna. Now here, there is so much advertisement of Ramakrishna. Just see these American boys. They do not even know the name of Ramakrishna in America. The point here is Prabhupada is trying to convey a message. In order to progress in spiritual life, one cannot bring his false ego, his ahamkar ideas into spiritual life, thinking that I know so much, have studied so much, I'm such a great scholar, I'm such a great person, I'm so intelligent. Forget all that. None of that is going to work. Prabhupada says, become a blank slate. And this is very similar to the situation we're facing at the current moment. So many persons are professing or claiming to be representatives of Prabhupada, to be devotees who represent the philosophy taught by Prabhupada. But what are they teaching? What are they representing? If you change the teachings, you're not representing Prabhupada. This is very important. You cannot change the teaching, change the books of Srila Prabhupada, disrespect Srila Prabhupada, disobey Srila Prabhupada, and simultaneously claim that you are promoting Srila Prabhupada. What you're doing is using Prabhupada to promote yourself. And that Krishna will not allow. We see so many persons who are protesting against so many nonsensical positions of persons claiming to be gurus. Why? Because they see a major discrepancy and contradiction between the pure teachings and how it's being allegedly practiced. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu warned, at first behave yourself, then preach, then teach. But the first behavior is you cannot change the words and instructions of the Acharya. It's like I see on the screen, all of you can probably see, Krishna Katha Prabhu has got the original 1972 picture of Bhagavad Gita. You know, in India at some point, some devotee were printing a book that Prabhupada had translated in Bengali, and they changed the cover of the book without getting Prabhupada's permission, and Prabhupada was very upset. He says, why have you changed this cover? Do not change. I was told a story once by one of the biggest book distributor in the history of the movement, Gopavrinda Prabhu, very nice devotee. He was in Prabhupada's room one time having a discussion with some of his leaders, and they were discussing about the books, his books. What should be done when they reprint the book? And Prabhupada took the Krishna book, This is the Krishna Book, Volume 2, published 1972. He took this book and told the devotees, he pointed out to the cover page, this book, when you reprint it, it should be printed from the exactly the same. From the first cover, you turn to the back cover, and everything inside do not change. Prabhupada used to often complain, and this is well known to most devotees, that the disease with you Americans and Europeans is this change disease. You want to change everything. Do not change. Not only is it disrespectful to the Acharya to change his writings or his books, it doesn't make very much good sense. Because a lot of it stems from a misunderstanding of who is Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was not just some old sadhu who came at the right place at the right time and he preached some novel spiritual philosophy. No. Prabhupada was a Nitya Siddha, eternally liberated soul from the spiritual world, sent by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to deliver the message of the Supreme Lord, Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Otherwise, how could he have done what he had done at such an advanced age and write all these wonderful literatures? Just the other day, I had a conversation with a devotee. He was asking, well, where does Prabhupada describe how the world is created? I said, well, if you study the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, 4, there are so many descriptions there about the Purusha incarnations, Mahavishnu, Karano Dakshaya Vishnu, Garbho Dakshaya Vishnu, Shiro Dakshaya Vishnu, how the whole world is manifested through the agency of Lord Brahma, the chief engineer of the universe. But don't take it from me. Don't take it what I'm trying to explain to you. You go to the source. You find out by reading carefully the book of Srila Prabhupada, non-adulterated, non-interpolated, original. If you want milk, don't try to get buffalo milk or camel milk. That will not help you. Le lait, le vrai lait, c'est le lait de la vache, pas du lait du buffalo. In French, that means real milk is cow milk, not the milk from buffalo. Some of you born in India or of Indian descent, you know that buffalo milk is not recommended by doctor because it harms your brain. But cow milk, pure cow milk, is recommended. So Prabhupada's teachings, his original teachings like that, it is pure cow milk. It should not be adulterated with goat milk, camel milk, buffalo milk. That's all nonsense. C'est des folies. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you. Hold on one second. I'll just readjust my audio. There we go. Thank you very much, Prodhanandana Prabhu. And we have an extensive panel of devotees on this call today that we want to ask to speak. Namely Janas Priya, Bhaktin, Penny Shah, Krishna Katha, Neela Sharma, Dharma Bhavana, etc., and any other comments that you may have. But it is important to note that Prabhupada said so convincingly that Paramatma, Krishna, knows everything. So everything that's going on here and within the minds and hearts of all of our membership, Krishna is fully conscious of everything. We're going to ask Janas Priya in Hawaii if he could make a few comments today on today's section of the Gita.
Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Aloha. Yes, very, very nice topics. And we want to drink the pure milk. We don't want nothing in it. And Prabhupada gave us that pure milk. And if we drink the pure milk the way Prabhupada gave us, then we'll get healthy. Because Prabhupada's only mission was to revive that love of Krishna in our heart. He had no other business, just to revive that love of Krishna in our heart. And he gave us the right method. He gave us the prescription step by step. And he said, you don't need to make anything. You don't need to especially change anything. Because as soon as we think that we could improve what Prabhupada did, that's our fall down, right there. We cannot improve Srila Prabhupada. So we should just simply follow the message that Prabhupada gave us. That is, like Vishwakarma said, go and preach, make one devotee in this lifetime. And that's actually a universal concept in all the religions. All the religions say the same thing. If you could convince one person of following whatever their path is, that's the perfection in your life. And it is. And Prabhupada said that himself. Said, I don't want millions of followers. I don't want millions of stars. I just want one bright moon. So we should all try to aspire to become that bright moon as much as we can, and follow the process, chant our rounds, follow the instructions of Lord Chaitanya, that whoever we meet, we must tell them about Krishna. So I have a little story here. I was driving to deliver some books to some Sankirtan group, and I was speeding, and the night before, me and my friend, we didn't know it was Ekadasi, so we broke Ekadasi. So we said, okay, tomorrow, the first person that we meet, we have to tell them about Krishna. So I was speeding, and the highway patrol pulled me over. So I gotta tell this highway patrol guy about Krishna, because that was the deal. So I just he came to the window and he told me whatever the legal business, and I said, do you know anything? Have you ever heard about Krishna? And he looked at me and his eyes opened real wide. And he said, yes. And I've been wanting to know more about it. And we were just like, wow, just see Prabhupada's mercy. Prabhupada will make every arrangement. If we have the slightest desire to serve Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada has an engagement for us. Hare Krishna.
Fascinating. Thank you for that Sankirtan pastime. Very interesting. Dharma Bhavana in Dallas, Texas, please, if you could share your insights on today's discussion.
Okay, Hare Krishna, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to read a little bit from Chaitanya Charter and read one special section that has always inspired me. Practically every day I have to read these books in order to stay alive. This is from the time where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Benares for the second time, and he met Prakashananda Saraswati and the various Mayavadi sannyasis, and they were asking him, why do you dance and chant in the company of fanatics? And they were talking about Vedanta, and Lord Chaitanya is explaining why he always does chanting. And he says, my dear sir, kindly hear the reason. My spiritual master considered me a fool, and therefore he chastised me. You're a fool, he said. You are not qualified to study Vedanta philosophy, and therefore you must always chant the holy name of Krishna. This is the essence of all mantras or Vedic hymns. I'm going to read this a little bit of the purport. Prabhupada explains also how we shouldn't simply study Vedanta all the time. We should keep on chanting Hare Krishna mantra, but devotees also have to be philosophically strong and know about Vedanta Sutra or Bhagavatam. So this is the purport. Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj comments in this connection. One can become perfectly successful in the mission of his life if he acts exactly according to the words he hears from the mouth of the spiritual master. This acceptance of the words of the spiritual master is called Shrota Vakya, which indicates that the disciple must carry out the spiritual master's instructions without deviation. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur remarks in this connection, the disciple must accept the words of his spiritual master as his life and soul. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here confirms this by saying that since his spiritual master ordered him only to chant the holy name of Krishna, he always chanted the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra according to this direction. Krishna mantra japa sada a mantra sara. And then that's kind of the most important part here. And then it explains a lot more about. And then it says, only fools give up the service of the spiritual master and think themselves advanced in spiritual knowledge. In order to check such fools, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself presented the perfect example of how to be a disciple. A spiritual master knows very well how to engage each disciple in a particular duty. But if a disciple, thinking himself more advanced than his spiritual master, gives up his orders and acts independently, he checks his own spiritual progress. Every disciple must consider himself completely unaware of the science of Krishna and must always be ready to carry out the orders of the spiritual master to become competent in Krishna consciousness. A disciple should always remain a fool before his spiritual master. Therefore, sometimes pseudo-spiritualists accept a spiritual master who is not even fit to become a disciple because they want to keep him under their control. This is useless for spiritual realization. Hare Krishna, thank you.
More insights here directly from Srila Prabhupada in his writings and teachings. And it is important that the devotees properly prepare themselves through the practice of devotional service so they have the capacity to understand this. This capacity is very important. Yashodanandana Prabhu, could you further elaborate?
Well, there's a lot of very important issues here that this Prabhu from Dallas, Texas is raising. And the one thing that we need to understand, and we've been discussing this many times before, why is it? Because devotees will ask, why is it that some devotees have a certain understanding and some other devotees don't seem to grasp or comprehend the issue? Well, Prabhupada explained this. It's basically an issue of personal ambition versus Krishna conscious ambition. There was a statement by Srila Prabhupada in a letter to Karandar on October 8, 1974, a letter to Karandar on October 8, 1974. Srila Prabhupada, I shall request you all not to be personally ambitious. I shall do everything in my power to fulfill your personal ambitions, but that will be done in due course of time when you're fully trained up in following the regulative principles and chanting 16 rounds. Prabhupada also expressed the same issue in a Bhagavad Gita lecture on May 30th, 1966 in New York. Prabhupada, now at the present moment, sometimes fighting takes place for some personal ambition, to fulfill some personal ambition. That should not be the case. Yes. To fulfill one's personal ambition, any risk-taking should not be taken. Now, on a Bhagavad Gita lecture on November 18th, 1972 in Hyderabad, India, Prabhupada stated, our only ambition is that to place Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is our proposition. We don't want to become Krishna, but we want to become the most obedient servant of Krishna. That is our proposition. Now, when we read through these statements of Srila Prabhupada, it's very important to understand why is Prabhupada is repeating this from 1966 to 1977, because he knew our disease condition. Just like if a physician knows that a certain person has a medical condition, and this person needs to have an operation, a lot of physicians will say, well, first, why don't you get a blood test or do this, do that? Then we're going to have a consult with you before we undergo this procedure to make sure that you're able to go through with this procedure. Similar thing right now with many devotees. Why some people cannot understand? Because of these factors that we've discussed here. It is not very complicated to understand. It just requires a little intent. This philosophy cannot be understood by those who are materially ambitious, envious, and who are less intelligent, spiritually less intelligent. This has nothing to do with material intelligence. Spiritual intelligence means what we discussed earlier. Become a blank slate. Accept the position of the Acharya and submit to the Acharya. In our case, that is Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Yes, that's exactly correct. That Prabhupada is, as predicted by Vrindavan Das Thakur, the representative incarnation of Vyasadeva, the literary incarnation of Krishna. This is a very wonderful opportunity for all of us in the Krishna consciousness movement to be able to be a part of this opportunity, let's say. And we should pray that we can always stay fixed in this situation and not become bewildered by Maya, which is extremely tricky. There are two stumbling blocks, by the way, Bhakta Jad, on the path of spiritual life. Prabhupada explains it, Nilesh, in the Srimad Bhagavatam in the first volume. The two stumbling blocks are women and wealth. Women and wealth. And they can easily distract one from the process of pure devotional service, which is the opportunity to get out of the conditioned state of material life. So these are obstacles that we have to be careful when dealing with these matters in the material world. And we have Nilesh Sharma. He's behind his desk today, I see. Not in the car.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol, please.
Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Go
There are
ahead.
a lot of pearls of wisdom which both you and Yashodanand Prabhu and Dharma Bhavana Prabhu said today. And one statement which you mentioned, Vishwakarma Prabhu, at the beginning of the class was Prabhupada was talking about miracles. And he
Yes,
said, it is a miracle that I did not change anything.
yes.
Now, why is that a miracle? We need to kind of dwell on this as why is it a miracle? It is not a miracle for Prabhupada because Prabhupada is on the Brahma Bhuta platform where there is no desire for anything material. He has come to present the books the way it is supposed to be understood to us. But why is it a miracle to us, to you and me, especially me? Is because I am materially contaminated. For me to present something without any addition is a miracle. Why? Because at every juncture in this material life, I'm doing things for three things. What are the three things I'm desiring? I want some profit. I want some adoration. And I want some distinction. The very three factors which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that you need to avoid. Now, If you see the psychology behind the changes in the books of Prabhupada which have been done, why have they been done? Try to understand that aspect. Why have they been done? Number one thing is for profit. It is for profit. If I want to change any books of Srila Prabhupada, I know that I cannot challenge him in the content part of it. So I'll try to make some minor changes. Why? Because I want intellectual, what you call, adorations. Oh, Neil Sharma, you did such a good job. You did this, you did that. That itself is falling into the trap. Why is Yashodananda Prabhu telling us constantly to not change? Why is he telling us not to change? Is because it is a miracle for us to keep the book the way it is, because we have to safeguard ourselves from these three pitfalls. And the two pitfalls which Vishwakarma Prabhu was talking about, women and wealth, is on the same level. It is on the same level. I want satisfaction of my senses, whether it is be physical senses or it be subtle senses, which is mind and intelligence. Because even intellectually, I want to be declared as a great scholar. And in doing so, I may do these changes. So the miracle is for you and me. And it is interesting what Bhakta Jade put up in the discussion also of quoting Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakura. We can claim that we made so many devotees. How are we different than these so-called fake gurus of ISKCON? They also made so many fake devotees. There were so many devotees. Can we claim that? Understand first in detail what you have written down of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I am quoting this. A Vaishnava should be a touchstone so that he can convert others to Vaishnavism. How many of us can claim we are touchstones? Are we at that purity level where we can claim we are touchstones? If you say, yes, I'm a touchstone, I can turn anything material into spiritual, then yes, you can convert people into Vaishnavas. All we can do is what? Take this jiva and present him to Srila Prabhupada. That's all we can do. You see? And when we do that, when we present it to Srila Prabhupada, it is between Srila Prabhupada and him that we can surrender ourselves to. Yashodananda Prabhu wants us to say something. I'll stop.
This is a very important point, which I want to put in perspective here, because this argument has been made many times that you people, ourselves and others, you're just criticizing. No, we're not criticizing. We've used this term before, fact-finding. First of all, it's one thing to quote that a Vaishnava or a spiritual leader or guru is recognized by how many Vaishnavas he's made. This is a quote by Srila Prabhupada himself. But Srila Prabhupada made 5,000 initiated disciples who were all engaged in his society as of 1977, November 14th. What happened to those disciples? That is an important question. Because before somebody starts making claims or sometimes outlandish claims, oh, we've made so many devotees. I once asked one of these persons, where are these devotees? You're talking thousands of devotees. Where are they? Because I used to go occasionally to the Toronto temple and mention to this person, why is it that these persons are not here? Where are these trained up devotees? And what happened to those devotees that were put under your care, under the management of the GBC and the leaders of ISKCON? What happened to those devotees? Why were the devotees not taken care of, protected? The women, the children, the Gurukul children, the devotees who did all the work to build the society for Srila Prabhupada. What happened to them? Incidentally, in 1978, one of these leaders told the Gurukul teachers in Vrindavan, when similar concerns were respectfully brought up, he laughed. He says, let them all leave. We've got our own disciples now. And this exemplifies the mentality, the dangerous, nonsensical mentality of many of these people. They didn't want to discuss anything because they really had no answer. Their idea is, here's the door, banning, beating, kicking them out. That is wrong. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Very so
This goes on for dissension,
correct.
Nilesh, when people are dissenters. And just before
But this
you
is
speak, yeah, go
but this
ahead.
is the point which I wanted to make,
Yes.
especially for the newcomers, is that
Mhm.
if they are truly touchstones, if they claim that they are truly touchstones, that they are on the Brahma Bhuta platform, then they should not desire anything material. So why try to change the books? Why try to change the books? Why do you want to have any kind of profit or adoration or admiration or distinction? You know, there is no need. As Dharma Bhavana Prabhu says, that it has to be done the way unchanged. It has to be presented. You have to follow the instructions of the spiritual master without any changes. Because initially we are at a contaminated level. So because of the contamination, we have to follow exactly the way Prabhupada has given us, then we're going to see the results. So if you are a touchstone, yes, go ahead and make Vaishnavas. But if you're not a touchstone, present that jiva to Srila Prabhupada, who is the touchstone, who will make those changes. And talking about blank slate, one of the biggest devotees we compare or we would like to be is like Hanumanji, you know. And when we read the Hanuman Chalisa, in the first chaupai, the first 4 verses, what does he say? Buddhihina tanu janake sumiro pavana kumar. Buddhihina, become buddhihin, without intelligence. Come as a blank slate. And then ask from Hanumanji. What do you ask? Buddhihina tanu janake sumiro pavana kumar. Bala buddhi vidya dehu mohi harahu kalesha vikar. You give me intelligence, you give me strength, and you give me knowledge, vidya. These 3 things is what we ask from the spiritual master and nothing else. So there is a lot of correlations over here, a lot of pearls which have been distributed today by everybody over here on the panel. And I wish that everybody can what you call can suck up all these pearls of wisdom and apply it in our own personal lives. Hare Krishna.
Haribo, yes. That's what life is for, the cultivation of truth, a higher form of life, and to elevate oneself to the level of a devotee of Krishna. And it is Nilesh. It is a very rare person that even takes up the process. Very rare. Recently, I have a friend who is a pharmacist, and she's telling me how miserable her life is, that all she does is dispense drugs to people that are sick, and not just sick due to disease, but to mental disorders. Because in this society, mental illness is treated through drug therapy, as you know. There is no knowledge-based solution for them. Now, somehow or other, in the last few years, I came into her life as a friend, strictly, and more or less a consultant for her in her different aspects of trouble that she has. Because we all have a variety of experience in life, Prabhu. And we can share that, like legal knowledge, financial knowledge, all kinds of information that's in our minds and intelligence from our past experiences. But the most valuable thing that she has is the association of a person who's aspiring to serve his guru. That's the most important. And there are millions of people in this country, but how many devotees are there, Nilesh? How many devotees care to get up and chant their rounds every day? Huh? Show me one. Show me two. Show me three. This Krishna explains in the Gita, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, Sumahatma Sudurlabaha. Devotees are very rare. We should not minimize the devotees. Now, someone could say, well, you're not a pure devotee. Okay, we accept that. That's obvious. We're not pure devotees. But we are servants of the servant of the pure devotee. There's such a thing as Vartma Pradarshaka Guru. Yes. If you go out and introduce someone to Krishna, you tell them, oh, read this book, and you give it to them, that's a teacher. If you go out and give a presentation of the philosophy according to Prabhupada's philosophy without change, that is also good. And you keep trying. This is the idea. It is very hard, Nilesh, to help first yourself become a devotee. It's not touchstone, but you have to practice this process. And then you must try, Nilesh, to convince someone else to take this up too. And if you think you can do it, all the power to you. If you don't, get someone else to. Get them to help. But it is very difficult. It takes many pounds of blood to make one devotee. And it takes a lot of effort. You know that. It's like, for example, in the material world, is it easy to become a millionaire? Well, it could be. Depends on your karma. If you make millions of dollars. But does it just happen because you just get up and look at the wall and go, oh, I think I want $1 million? No, you have to get up and go to work. And you have to be smart. And you have to be extremely committed to that. So in the same way, we mold our lives in such a way that we're preaching to people we meet. And somehow or other, out of all of the individuals that we encounter, eventually you meet somebody that you see has got the potential to take this up. I've stumbled with so many people. Unbelievable. Like if I look at the list, it's a long list. I get excited when I meet them. Oh, there's a sincere person. I just met them somehow or other on the phone or whatever way in a meeting. And you try to cultivate them and they get excited. Like in one particular case, I was with a fellow and he was claiming to be very rich, like almost $1 billion. Oh, okay. I like billionaires, of course, because they might do some service. And he invited me to his cottage a few years ago. I went there. I took beads with me, Nilesh. I took beads. So I stayed over for a couple of days and him and his wife were there. And in the morning I got up, I started to chant. I did my rounds. I told them, oh no, I can't talk right now. Oh, why not, Vishwa? Oh, I have to chant. So I chanted. Then after a couple of days, they said, well, we'd like to try chanting. So I said, well, you have to buy your own beads and, go online. And they looked it up and the beads were expensive. It was like $50, $60 for this and that and shipping and that. I had brought an extra set of japa beads with me for them to chant. Actually, I brought 2 sets, Nilesh, so I had them with me. I have an abundance of material here at my ashram that I can disseminate to other people. I'm prepared to give beads, neck beads, japa bags, tilak. I've got that stuff in my stock. You've got to have this paraphernalia with you. So anyway, I was feeling a little bit disappointed because, it was going to cost them like $50, $60, $70. So I thought, okay, I had a really nice set of japa beads I had bought at one of the festivals I used to go to. And I get people to pick up beads for me when they go to India. They asked me, what do you want? I say, well, maybe you can bring me some japa beads or neck beads. That's how I got this kurta. One of my god sisters from Toronto, Subudi, she bought this kurta for me years ago. So I have it. So I have this paraphernalia here that's available to distribute to other people. Yes. So I give them out of charity. I give them a beautiful set of japa beads and a bead bag, Nilesh. I thought, okay. And then he tells me, I said, you guys can share it between yourselves. So I give them the beads and they start chanting, and they're coming to the classes for some time. This was about a year and a half ago. They started to come to the classes, I think, for 3 or 4 months. Then guess what? Disappear. Goodbye. They go away. And they took my beads that I gave them. They don't use them anymore. Oh, well. Now I might call this fellow. I'm not mentioning him maybe this week. I've always in my mind, even though most of the time it's a waste of time for me now because they're not serious. So many are called, few are chosen. This is the situation. But you have to go out and make an endeavor. You have to try. Like in sales, I used to sell my own properties. I had many properties, 30, 40 of them. I'd sell them. I used to sell BMW. I sold $10 million in BMWs. But how many people are qualified to buy a BMW? Hey, Nilesh, how many? How many people can come and spend $150,000 in an afternoon to buy one car? Well, hardly any. In fact, it's a bit lucky if you even meet one. So this type of thing requires a lot of effort to make one devotee. It's not a cheap thing. Bhakta Jad in France, you had your hand up, please.
Hare
Go
Krishna,
ahead.
the devotees, very
And by
ecstatic
the way,
program.
I wanted to say about Bhakta Jad, Yashodanandana, he's 27 years old. Go ahead, Bhakta Jad.
So I really liked, and I wanted to say something about this point of making a devotees. 2 things I would like to share. First thing is this book, Preaching is the Essence. It's like all the quotes about preaching that we can find in Prabhupada books. This is
Okay.
from this book that I shared the quotes. It's very ecstatic. You really have to meditate on this point. And how we make serious devotees. First, we have Shraddha, and then we have Sadhu Sangha. So it's very nice thing that we can help people associate with other devotees. And you created this. It is very nice flyer for the Krishna Society and the program. People, they can have access to the Facebook, to the website. So I very much encourage all devotees who are here to print these things. It's very nice. It's very professionally done. It will give people assurance that we are bona fide. So I really encourage to print these things because by associating with all the devotees here, we feel strength, we
Yes.
feel convinced. Yes, there is Prabhupada, his books, his teachings, bona fide association. And in this way, you can really help others also in their spiritual lives. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. And these handouts, Prabhu, they're available through our Hare Krishna Society. If you go online and send a post to our website, then we'll make sure you get the artwork. We're having ours printed this week as well. Joe Felice, Dr. Joe Felice, who I've been cultivating for almost 40 years, Nilesh. 40 years of cultivating him and his wife, Karen. They both come to the classes on a regular basis now. And this is a great blissful experience for all of us. Yashodanandana, maybe you can finish off with a few comments and then we'll move ahead with the chanting of Hare Krishna with Prabhupada playing the bongo.
Well, I've already said pretty much everything I wanted to say for today. Thanks everybody for participating, and let's hear Prabhupada playing the bongo, and we invite everybody to come back tomorrow morning at 7:00 a.m. for Srimad Bhagavatam, the wonderful story of Narada Muni instructing Vyasadeva. Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Haribo. Nilesh, please. Or Rupesh. Rupesh, please play the kirtan and chat along, everyone, with this kirtan.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and are full of compassion for the fallen souls. Thanks everybody for participating. We look forward to see all of you tomorrow at 7:00 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock a.m. Hamilton, Ontario time or East Coast time. Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hi, Srila Prabhupada. Haribo. Hare Krishna.
Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnava Vangsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathannitam Tang Sajivam Sadaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya